Good day, one and all. Welcome to Canadian music in the 80s and 90s and more. I hope you like what you see. If you do, please subscribe. I like that. Um, this is one of those highlight moments for what I've been doing. I'm happy to have Brad from 5440. Thanks for joining me.
My pleasure.
Um, we got some stuff to talk about. You got some new music coming out. Um, and a band that's been around as long as you guys have, going on what, 40 years now?
So we it's 45 years.
45 years. Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, what's it like for a band that 45 years been around, bringing out new music still?
Well, it's all I know, so I
Yeah.
don't know if it's different from other people's experience or not, but it's great. You know, there's been ups and downs, I think, like any life or any career. Um, but it's been an adventure, and like all adventures, it wouldn't be an adventure if things didn't go wrong. So we accept those with good grace, and we're doing extremely well now. In many ways, we've never been better.
No, it's well, I mean, I shouldn't be amazed. Like, I mean, I what I've noticed doing this channel is a lot of the bands I've interviewed, I really like to push the fact that after all this time, you're still making music. And I like to promote the new that you're doing new music and still as good at it that you've ever been. That's the thing I like to really push. And I'm always blown away by a band that's been around as long as you that still has the passion to keep doing it. Um, like is it just the like you said, it's what you do, obviously. But what's it like coming up with new ideas still? Like is it something that you struggle with or
Yeah, I would say so. But my philosophy is embrace the struggle. So, struggling and striving, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I guess at some point you don't have the energy to do it anymore, but you know, we're mostly either in our mid 60s or entering our mid 60s, and we still feel personally vital, professionally relevant, still enjoy what we do. Um, still, uh, it's not like we're not careering anymore, right? It's not about that. It's more about being part of a community, right? So we have this fan base, and we're into the next generation of that now, um, and it seems to be as big as it ever has been. You know, so that comes with a bit of an obligation, I think, to um, to keep on keeping on, right? And so, like I say, we embrace the struggle. We tend to go, it ebbs and flows. A lot of it depends on Neil and sort of how excited or motivated he is or what he's thinking about. So he's always, looking for, grist for the mill, right? So
right?
traveling, reading, writing, playing live with us, um, good conversations, where ideas are bounced off each other. And then he starts to do his thing, and then we get together and do our thing, and we're still doing it, Alan.
In terms of bringing out a sound, is it a different producer that brings a sound to you guys, like that brings something to you? Like the producer that produced this, was this a big someone that brought this
Yeah.
on?
Okay, so this new record, Porto, which comes out, I think next week, as
Hmm.
we've discussed.
Yeah.
We think it's we think it's a week tomorrow. We think it's 8 days from now. It might be the following Monday. I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure it's comes out on Friday, January 23rd. But anyway, um, the producer is Warren Livesey, who did The and Midnight Oil and a lot of Matthew Good records and a bunch of other stuff too. Stuff that's way before your time. Julian Cope,
Okay.
Yep, yep, yep. So, and he's he's from England, and but living in Canada, friend of the band. Uh, but I the ideas, the concept usually originate. We talk about it as a group. Neil gets behind it, or he comes up with it on his own. And he said a long time ago, I want the next record to be real simple, riff rock, just the four or five of us playing. Not this, piles of background vocals and layers
Right.
of keyboards and, all this other kind of stuff that some people do. And we've done that too, right? So, um, and, it kind of thought, not so much like AC/DC, but more like the Kinks or something like that. And like
Right.
it's kind of a timeless sound. So it really starts with the band. And then when you start talking with producers, you kind of tell them what you're thinking, and then they either buy in and add to that, or you get somebody else. We're at the stage now where, it's not like the record company tells us anything. You know, we we do what we want, and so like I say, it generally comes from us.
I've listened to the four singles that have been released already. I find it has a real good mix of old and new from what you've done. Like I'm hearing a lot of, you've got the rock and stuff going there, but it has a real style of what you started out with. Like
Hmm.
that I remember from back in the 80s. Like it's a real good mix of it all.
Yeah.
Was that something intentional or?
Uh, 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 Yeah, that's a good question. It's funny, you really stumped me here.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry.
yeah, it's okay. Well, I don't really think about it in those terms. Certainly, every song we look at individually, and we have intent, right? Uh, and that may not be readily apparent at the beginning, but at some point, we latch onto something and then move in that direction together. And we have a variety of influences, and we've now been in multiple eras of music and influenced by the previous 20 years before we were a band. So I think it's all kind of in there. Those four songs that you're referring to, I would think, yeah, that's right. It's kind of an eclectic little group. Um, uh, like they're all different, right? In sort of their approach and where they fit in. But there's um, a cohesiveness. There's a because we played them, together. It sounds like us, even though it's kind of eclectic.
I really love Virgil. It's one of my favorite songs that I've heard. I love that song so much.
Well, thank you. And that's kind of got it's kind of a kind of groovier and slower, and but it's got this ethereal, really spacious guitar thing going on, and it's yeah, that really came together nicely.
Are you still influenced by bands like recent bands? Are there recent bands that influence you guys still that you're really fans of, or is it? I mean, I'd
So
like to talk about your other influences, like before you started as a band. But
yeah,
are you still influenced by bands today?
well, only in as much as those bands were influenced by bands that influenced us, right? There's this band from England called Wet Leg,
Hmm.
um, and I love them, and they're great. But I can hear their influences because there are influences as well, even though they're really young, right? I like a band like Fiddler from LA, LA punk band. Once again, I hear stuff that influenced us, right? So, and they, yeah, I can't, I don't know if they influence us. Once again, it's something I really don't think about. I kind of like this Brandy Carlisle thing, I think.
Hmm.
I like this kind of earthy Americana. Um, I don't care about the music industry thing. I'm in it for the music, and I work with these same guys because we're great and we love working together. And she's had an amazing career by any measure. But once again, she's not doesn't seem like she's really careering. Now, maybe that could be an illusion. I don't know, right? And she seems earnest, right?
Hmm.
And there's a bunch of artists like that. So it's, I'm just touched on a few. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would say our influences are generally each other at this point to a great
Right.
degree. And kind of the stuff we grew up with, right? Starting in the mid to late 1960s to, to you know, to early 2000s, maybe, you know. So that's a good wide breadth, right? It's 4 decades plus of music, and even stuff before that too. Uh, we listened to, stuff from the 50s and 40s. I spend a little time every now and thinking about when did rock and roll start, right? Was it Hank Williams, Move It On Over? Was it Louis
Yeah.
B. Jordan? Was it Cab Calloway? What was it? I don't know, right? Uh,
I even remember a song by it was Jukebox Baby by Perry Como. And that kind of have that had a rockin' beat to it. You know
oh
what I
yeah,
mean? That could have been
yeah,
considered like early rock and
sure,
roll too,
yeah.
right?
So
So,
yeah, yeah.
um,
Well, yeah, all
uh,
those pop crooner guys, they flirted with rock and roll, like Bobby Darin and
yeah.
Splish Splash, and yeah, it's interesting. Andy Williams, so I mean, it's really quite funny because yeah, we're definitely influenced by stuff that was happened before we were born too. So and that never stops, right? And like if I listen to music, sometimes I play new music, sometimes I put on something where it's eclectic, right? Get all these,
Right.
uh, like if you any kind of streaming thing, if you just let um, the algorithm go, right?
Yeah.
Especially on something like Spotify, it mixes in stuff that's 6 weeks old and 50 years old, and it seems seamless, right? I don't know how that works, but so we are attentive. We still use our ears, and we love music.
There's one kind of question I wanted to ask you, and I hope you don't. I don't know if you're sensitive towards it. I don't. You guys have really expanded the generations, like from where you started to where you are now. Um, And are you ever surprised by who you've influenced? And I mean that because what did a band like Hootie and the Blowfish covering I Go Blind do for you guys?
Okay, so those guys, look, we knew Mark and Dean because we used to tour the U.S. a lot,
Right.
and they're from Maryland, and so we'd be touring ice in the summertime, and we'd play this club called the 930 Club in Washington, D.C., and they'd come and see us, and they go, "Oh, and they're younger, right? They're like
Yeah.
8 or 10 years younger, or whatever they are. They were going to, well, they would be 10 years younger, five or 6 or 7. I don't know how many years younger, but anyway, uh, but they're going to university, right? And yeah, we're probably in our late 20s, and they're playing in this frat band, and we play the whole Green record, you know,
Yeah.
every single song. We love you guys, and then come backstage and they'd be telling us this, and they'd be eating our pizza and drinking our beer, right? Every tour we'd go on, we'd play that and they would come, right? And a few years later, we're doing Snow Jam, Much Music thing in Banff, and we hear that Hootie and the Blowfish have released an album on Atlantic Records, and the single, I can't remember what the first single was, but the B-side was I Go Blind, right? They did a cover of I Go Blind and they put it on the B-side. And we know that's kind of cool, right? That's going to make us about $30 each, you know? And then the record blows up, and then we find out, I mean, it sold it's close to 20 million copies. I mean, it's just absolutely massive. And we find out that I Go Blind was the last song cut from the record. So the stat rate, which is what the writers and publishers get for each song on the record, it would have amounted to you know, I don't know what it would be, but it would be, over $1 million, to our enterprise, right? So it would have been, it was like, oh, geez, that was hard to take. So then it gets released on the Friends, the TV show Friends.
Yeah,
They did a soundtrack, so it's on the Friends soundtrack, and okay, that's cool, that's cool. And then that sells a couple million copies, so that's great. Um, and then what happens is there's a gap between Hootie and the Blowfish's first record and their second record, and radio is looking for a Hootie song to play. And even though like the deal with the people who are releasing the Friends soundtrack was you can't release this as a single, radio started playing it anyway. In Cleveland and Texas
yeah.
and California. And the next thing you know, it becomes a massive hit, even though it's never been released as a single. And I can't remember what year it was, late 90s. It was the third most played song on Hot AC, radio, like hit radio,
Right.
in the United States. And then the royalties flowed in.
But did
It,
it bring a lot more attention to you guys now?
we had a little run. We got re-signed to an American record label. We had a record come out. It was kind of a compilation of stuff. We called it Casual View in USA
Yeah.
that had some stuff. And then these guys flew these planes into some buildings in New York and Washington,
Mm.
D.C. And that just shut that whole project down. We did a little tour of the US on it. Um, Yeah, and also it's a bit of a calling card if people don't know who you are, you can always refer to that, but I don't really care about that stuff. We're glad that Hootie recorded it. It's a great song. I hear it on the radio all the time, either our version or their version, and I don't care which version it is. It's all fine. Um, so there's nothing bad about it. It's all good.
No, I mean, because you guys, I remember you guys from the '80s. I think the first song I remember was "One Day in Your Life" was the first song I remember by you guys. Um,
You
Great
don't look
song.
that old, Alan.
I'm 55, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
okay, all right.
Okay,
You're getting up there.
I'm getting up there. I've my knowledge of music has probably done a lot more harm to me than good.
You and me both.
So, do you mind if I go back to where you started playing music? Like,
Sure.
what was it you were hearing when you were first like, okay, I got to learn to play an instrument and take this
Yeah.
further?
Well, I mean, it was imposed on me by my mother, who insisted I take piano lessons.
Right.
Fortunately, I had this great piano teacher who was like this teenage girl just down the street from us. I was living in Connecticut at the time. And, it was great because, we worked on little exercises, we learned songs, we also had this book of theory, so I got into that a little bit. So, and then I started playing trumpet at school and then played in the school band and blah, blah, blah. So, I, I'm somewhat musical. Um, but obviously, I'm interested in rock and roll. And yeah, so the music of the day, rhythm and blues, soul music, that kind of stuff, the counterculture.
Yeah.
So, and then, but I never thought I was going to have a career in music or anything like that. And then punk rock came, which I think just changed my life, right? It just went like, oh my God, I love this. I love the energy. I love the immediacy. I love that DIY ethic, and I said, because I was always poking around with guys kind of starting bands and just jamming in people's
Right.
basements, rec rooms, and, the usual Canadian thing. Someone's got an amp and three guys plug into it kind of thing. And one,
Yeah.
one guy's got a drum kit, right? Or whatever it was. And then I said, yeah, well, let's do something. And so I was able to talk Neil into coming home from music school in Boston, and we started a band. And like in the fall of 1980, I started to learn some songs that he had written, and then we wrote some songs together, and we had a few covers, and started playing. Um, right away. Our first show was New Year's Eve, 1980, December 31st, 1980. So 81 we can kind of consider our first year. And then just got gigs as the best we could, you know. There was a local scene that was happening. DOA did Hardcore 81. I'm thinking that's February 1981, could be January. And it seemed like for me, it was kind of a double-edged sword. It was very exciting. You know, Black Flag was there and a
Yeah.
bunch of other great bands. So cool. Too, I went to both nights. And but it kind of splintered up the music scene in Vancouver. It kind of went, the punk thing became,
Yeah.
and unless you were like a hardcore punk, you're in something else. So um, we actually started spending a lot of time in Seattle. We started to play a lot down there, got friends down there, stayed down there, did as many gigs in Seattle as we did in Vancouver, and then worked our way down the coast. Our first show in San Francisco was in 1982. Um, we opened up, we did a lot of shows in San Francisco, but one of them was we opened up for Public Image Limited, Johnny Lydon's band.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like any other band that sorts of bands. It's a bit of a hustle thing, right? It's writing letters and making calls, going to other gigs and begging other bands to be on their bill and talking to the promoters. There's bands would come through from the UK and we would ask to be on the bill. Um, and then of course, with the DIY ethic that we got from punk rock, we said, well, we make our own records. We started doing that. We joined a little record co-op called Motomu, which was modern dance music. Um, and they did, I don't know, 15 or 20 records in Vancouver. But basically, you came in there with your own energy, your own ideas, even your own money, And but they had a little bit of infrastructure that you could access, right? And a little office, and so we started making independent records, and then we would press them, and then we would sell them to distributors, mostly in the U.S., and then keep on touring up and down the West Coast. And then 84, we did a couple tours of California where we went to L.A. Started to get a little interest. Sub Pop, which is the
Nirvana's first label,
yeah,
wasn't it?
exactly. Nirvana was
Yeah.
on that, but yeah. They were very much a Seattle thing, West Coast thing. We were on one of their compilation cassettes
Hmm.
with our independent Set the Fire. Yeah, Set the Fire. The song was Set the Fire from the album Set the Fire, which is our first independent album,
Hmm.
which we released in 84. Um, and so record companies started sniffing around at that point. And then 1985, we did a tour of California. Our drummer Daryl left. We got Matt Johnson to play drums for us, and it's great. It's great. And we're down in LA. Did a bunch of shows at various clubs in Los Angeles, and Warner Brothers said we want to sign you. So we signed to them in spring of '86, and then we had a record already made, which is the Green record.
Yeah.
We spent some money with them to remix it with Dave Jordan, and it was out in June, I think, of '86. Um, and we thought we were way to the races. We had independent promoters on it. It was getting lots of play on college radio. The Baby Ran video was on MTV. And then the payola scandal hit. This is maybe a bit before your time.
Yeah.
And so all set lists were frozen for months after that. So a bit of bad luck there, but we did a couple more records with Warner Brothers, both great. Well, the next record, which is the one you're probably familiar with One Day in Your Life, not my favorite record we did. It's
Right.
probably my least favorite record. Um, but the songs are good. I just didn't like the sound of the record.
Right.
Uh, um, and then another one, Fight for Love with them, and then we ran our course with them, and then signed with Sony Music and did a pile of records with them. So that's like a thumbnail sketch, Alan, of kind of early days. It was fun and exciting, and piles of ups and downs, and lots of miles on the van.
I recently watched, I don't know if you've seen it, there's a documentary about CFNY in Toronto that just came out.
Hmm.
Would you say they were one of the radio stations that kind of broke you a little, played you at first?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, there's only when the Green record came out, Canada was a foreign territory, right? So, but because we're a Canadian band, they're Canadian songs. It was recorded in Canada. We should have had some attention at radio, but the only stations that would play us were CFNY, uh, and we charted with them, and they played the crap out of us, and Much Music.
Yeah,
Both incredibly influential, and that was it. I can't remember how many records it sold, but it was well short of gold. It was about 30,000 records, I think it sold. And then the next record had One Day in Your Life, and then yeah, it was great. If we went gold on that record, and it did well. And anyway,
that's where I first heard of you. I grew up in Ontario. So
right,
CFNY was in its infancy stages and they broke a lot of bands. And the one thing I was kind of disappointed, they didn't talk about the Canadian bands that they broke. And
yeah,
you guys being one of them.
sure.
And Much Music I felt was responsible for a lot of Canadian bands because if you're a Canadian band and you had a video, they were going to play it.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
in
Well,
heavy rotation too.
yeah. So we did the independent record, set the fire of the song "What to Do Now," which I think is song one on side two. We did a video for it. And so in 1984, I guess, Much Music was the thing, and they played it on one of their specialty programs, indie,
Yeah.
whatever it was, and then I think it might have been Much West that was played a few times.
Mhm.
So, they were Much Music very supportive, CFNY very supportive. Commercial radio in Canada took a while to get
Yeah.
going on us. And, I think uh, it's obviously we evolve musically, but I think also, what could be played on the radio changes, with time as
Yeah,
well,
for
right?
sure. Yeah.
So fortunately there's a confluence of those two things, and yeah, I mean we're stalwarts. It's we are so grateful, right? We are in recurrent on I don't know how many stations in Canada, but it's incredible. I mean, we have probably 19 or 20 songs that are played quite regularly on Canadian radio.
That's fortunate to have something like that, like, and to have that kind of impact over the years that you do have that. And then you kind of got going even more in the 90s. Like, I mean, because there was a lot of big Canadian bands that broke out in the 90s too, and you guys were right on top of it, playing
Yeah.
like the Edge Fest concerts. And
Oh yeah, those are so much fun. Oh yeah, did you go to those?
I went to one where you guys played.
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah.
was when Love You All was just coming out.
Oh yeah.
It was
Yeah.
at Barrie, Edge Fest in Barrie. I
Yeah. Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
that, and you guys were on the bill, and just
Yeah.
one of the better bands of the day because I
Yeah.
remember you guys didn't BS around. You just got up there and played your hits.
Yeah.
You didn't go, oh, this is a new song that we're, you just got up there and every song was something everybody knew.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
guess you have to do that at festivals sometimes because maybe not everybody's, I want to hear new music and different music, but maybe when you go to a festival, people just want to hear whatever you're known for.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't care, you know. It's like, well, at this stage, everything we play is a hit, pretty much. It's just a
Yeah,
question of degree, right? And we can't even play them all. So, and that's fine.
yeah,
And now we sneak in two or three new songs because we have a new record coming out next week. So, that's okay. Yeah, back in those days, I mean, I guess we had three, four, five, six records out on major labels. Yeah, so I mean, if you're not at the headline act, you're only gonna get 12 or 13 songs, so they're all gonna be hit singles, right?
You guys broke some bands yourself. I've interviewed Kevin from the Grapes of Wrath, and he said they opened for you one of their first shows ever.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We actually poached Kevin's drummer. He was in a band called no, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't his band. He was in another band. I can't remember. Anyway, he's from Kelowna,
Yeah.
and that's where they're from, right? And they had a little scene there, and we Daryl Newdorf, when our first drummer Ian Franey left, we got him to play, and he played up until Matt joined in '85. But yes, we were. I think we think in those terms too. I mean, we are grateful for the bands that had us
Hmm.
open for them, and it's helped us tremendously. Tom Cochran being one of them too, actually.
Hmm.
Uh, but I mean, we had bands that opened for us constantly. Um, what's it? Our Lady Peace.
Oh
They
yeah.
must
Yeah.
they must open for us close to 50 times, certainly 40 anyway.
Yeah.
Um, the Headstones, Big Sugar, the Bare Naked Ladies
Yeah.
opened for us.
Wow.
Tragically Hip opened for us.
Opened for you.
Yeah, in
Wow.
Montreal. Yeah. I'm not saying we broke them by any stretch, but
No.
um, yeah. So yeah. Yeah, so it's just it's about continuity, right? There's bands that come before us, they help us, we get going, and then we help bring bands up behind us, and it's a good thing.
But you never stop making quality music, which is, I think, is the key to your longevity overall. And when you have a much music and CFNY playing your music on a regular basis and exposing you to more people, I think that helped. But you made constantly quality music, which is what I've always loved about your band.
Yeah.
Like Dear Dear is still one of my favorite albums of all time. I love the feel of that record.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
Um, and then you followed it up with probably three more amazing albums after that. So,
yeah,
which that was a pretty good run in the 90s. So
yeah,
too.
yeah. Smile and then Smiling with a Cabaret, which
Yeah, yeah. Ocean
had
Pearl
Ocean
was
Pearl and
uh,
Assaholic and Blame Your Parents and
and Assaholic was being used on Much West, wasn't it? Wasn't it the
yeah, yeah,
theme
yeah, yeah.
song?
It was that's right. It was the theme music for Much West for 10 years or whatever it was. Yeah.
Because I
Um,
interviewed Terry David Mulligan recently, and you were a part of that big Vancouver scene too, breaking out of the 80s as well. Like, I mean, there was a lot of big acts coming out of Vancouver.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny, because I'm from Vancouver, um, but a lot of people came to Vancouver from other parts of Canada. I
Yeah,
mean, so you're
not just
Sarah
Canada,
McLachlan's.
the other
Yeah,
parts of the world. Like
yeah,
every
yeah.
big band was recording in Vancouver at the end of the 80s,
Sure.
weren't they?
Yeah, Coldplay. Well, oh yeah, the big bands, or like
Motley
Aerosmith.
Crue and
Yeah,
Metallica and
yeah,
like
Metallica. Yeah, they all came through. Bon Jovi.
Little Mountain Sound, wasn't it?
Yes, Little Mountain. Yeah, we
And
were
then
there. We were there doing Show Me, doing some overdubs because we did the basic tracks down in LA. And Aerosmith was in the big room next
oh
door. So
yeah,
we yeah, Steven Tyler comes back with Joe Perry, and they just spent the day over at Jim Valence's place on the North Shore,
okay.
writing songs. He goes, "We spent the afternoon with Jim Valence. We wrote three hits, so and he was right. They became three huge hits, right? So pretty cool, right? Yeah, it was neat to be a part of that.
And I heard a lot about Mushroom Studios too. That was a big studio back there, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we did a lot of recording there. We did, yeah, see now, Set the Fire was done there, the first independent record, and then the Green record, which's
Yeah,
got I Go Blind and Baby Ran. And then we did Trusted by Millions, the one you just mentioned that you
yeah.
saw Edgefest, yeah, the Love You All single. So we did that there, and then I'm sure we've done other ones as well, but I just can't think of them right now.
Yeah, Spirit of the West was always one of my favorite bands, and I know that they did some recording there as well. Was it a real community with the Vancouver bands too? It seems like it was.
Yeah, well, I actually visited with those guys when they were in Mushroom, and yeah. when they're doing Save Our House. Um, yeah, I think so. I mean, it's funny because that's what I really wanted to be a part of, when I was going to shows and, before Neil and I started the band, I wanted to be part of that. And then, as I mentioned, in 81, it seemed to
Yeah.
diverge and kind of fall apart a little bit. So, we did our best to try to keep it going. We would, you know, organize these hall gigs, where you'd have to rent the stage and put up your own posters and, phone up the radio stations and tell them you're playing and sell tickets at the local record store. And we did all that stuff ourselves. That's that do-it-yourself kind of thing. We tried to sort of keep that going. We had a lot of energy, we were totally committed, very serious about it. And I guess it did continue. I just was hoping to sort of ride the coattails rather than having to do it all ourselves.
But what an amazing job you guys did.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
No, it's like I said, it's great to see bands like you still making music today and great music. Like, I mean, I think from what I can't wait to hear the rest of this album. It's as good as anything you've done.
Yeah.
Um,
That's so Neil's doing a lot of press. He doesn't do a lot of press usually, but and he says that, and he says it to us. He goes, "This is as good as anything we've done. This is a great record." We just did 12 shows across Canada with Foreigner, such as they
oh,
are.
you were
Yeah,
out east here, weren't you, with
yeah,
them?
yeah. Yeah, we played. Are you in PEI? You said right
I'm
now,
in
Shanghai?
PEI, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we didn't get there, but we got to Cape Breton and we got to Halifax. We got to St. John's.
Hmm.
Um, and Fredericton.
Okay.
Or was it
Moncton? Did
Moncton?
you get Moncton or Frederick
No, it was
Markham?
Moncton. It wasn't Fredericton.
Okay. Oh,
It
you
was
played
Moncton.
the hockey rink there, the
That's
big.
right.
How
We
did you
played the
say?
hockey rink.
Yeah,
Good venue. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it was in Moncton. Yeah. Anyway, then we Montreal. Anyway, what the hell is my point?
That you're still doing it today. Like, I mean, that's my favorite
Yeah,
part,
I had a point.
Um,
But Alan, it's been a long day. Oh, I know. Yeah, you're talking about Neil, how he. Anyway, he would say that every night we opened up for. He say we've just made a great fucking record.
oh, I can't wait to hear the rest of it. I've only heard
Yeah.
the four songs, but if it seems like a real treat to hear the rest of it. I can't wait to hear the rest of it.
Well, okay, so that's coming out next week, and yeah, I just want to say before I let you go here that I was really impressed. I was able to bring that point back when I went on that tangent. So I haven't lost it yet, Alan.
What's the tour plans? I read in your bio there that you are planning a tour this year.
So we were super busy last year, right? We went to Portugal. We
Yeah,
made a record. We played 49 shows last year. We played all the new songs a little bit at a time, just sort of to road test them before we recorded. Before that,
right,
played them after, you know, did two big cross country tours. We're taking a little break now, so
right.
we're just doing press. The record's going to come out. We've got some dates that start in June. I think there might be one or two before that. They're not confirmed yet, but we've got a very busy schedule from the first week of June through till about the middle of November.
Okay,
Um, if peop so record comes out next week. Looks like this.
okay.
Yeah.
Vinyl,
Looks like
vinyl release too.
yeah, there's a vinyl release as well. It's on
Okay.
vinyl. Yeah. And we're gonna tour on this record and we're excited. But we're gonna take a little break right now.
Is PEI a possibility? Please.
Yeah, yeah, I don't see why it shouldn't be. I think the last time we played there, we played on a big show at the horse track.
Oh,
Or the
yeah,
the
okay.
racetrack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 40,000 people there, and it was us, Aerosmith,
Oh, right, right. You played the Aerosmith show in the middle of the racetrack. Yeah.
Cheap Trick,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, and a bunch of other bands. It was wild. Yeah, I think that's the last time we played in Charlottetown. I tell you what, Alan, talk to somebody, and we would love to play there. We would love to play there again.
Are you going to go right across most of Canada on the tour when you
Oh yeah,
start going?
yeah.
Good. Good thing doing it in June because you know how much fun it is to travel across Canada from February to
Alan, we've done
it's not.
we've had tour buses stuck in the snow more than once. So yeah, we've had brake lines freeze. We've
Yeah.
it's
But that's part of growing pains to be in an abandoned Canada, isn't it?
yeah, totally. Yeah, you got to pay your dues. Absolutely, I'm with you.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to hearing the rest of the record and seeing where you're going to perform when you do
Yep.
get on the road. Enjoy your break. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Um, and I thank you for taking time to be on my little channel here. It means a great deal to me to have a band like you
Okay,
guys come out there. Oh, bass guitar, love it.
there it is. So, Alan, it's been a pleasure. Really glad to do this with you, and maybe sometime later in the year we'll do it again.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to talk to you maybe before the tour starts or even whatever. That'd be great to talk to you. Anytime you want to come on this channel, you have a free open door.
I love it.
All right. All the
Thanks, Alan.
best. All the best to you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Bye
Bye.
bye.